Morning, everybody. So we have a full day ahead. First, we have a discussion on the foreign information manipulation and false information. What we can do actually about this, we have tools developed that we have helped our friends, other countries with, but it's clear that it's also becoming an issue in Europe. It is clear that we have these networks that are really working against us. And it's also a cognitive warfare. It's a battle of narratives for the hearts and minds. So we are discussing what more can we do in this regard. And then, of course, we have a discussion on Ukraine. Tomorrow marks the 4th anniversary of this horrible war. Of course, there's going to be discussion on the 20th sanctions package, but as you all know, I think there is not going to be progress regarding this today, but we will definitely make this push. Then also the discussion about, what should we talk to the Russians about. It's clear that the pressure so far has been on Ukraine when it comes to the peace talks, but it's clear that it has to be on Russian side because they are the aggressor in this war, and if we want this wars to stop, if we want this not to go any further, then we also need to see concessions from the Russian side. That's also very clear. And then, of course, we will discuss also the 90 billion loan, how it should be pushed forward, but let's see how that works out. And then we have the Middle East. We have Nikolai Mladenov coming to talk to us. We want to be part of the peace process in Gaza and also contribute with what we have. We have the EUBAM Rafah border crossing mission, and we have the EUPOL COPS in order to disarm Hamas. It has to be the Palestinian police, and there the EUPOL COPS could be very handy. We have had agreements also on the with Jordan and Egypt, how we can best do this, but we also need the approval from the Israeli side. And then we will also discuss Syria, the developments in northeast Syria and what concerns are there. And then after that, we will also touch briefly on points like Venezuela and issues that other member states want to raise. Thank you.
Representative, do we want to be a negotiator with Russia from EU? We want to have this position. We want to be, because a lot of discussion who should be negotiator from EU with Russia, and you are high representative.
Yeah, I think more important than who talks to Russia is what we want to talk them about, and that's why these concessions that we need to see whoever talks to Russia, whether bilaterally or as representative of Europe as such, needs to also ask these questions, what Russia is willing to concede. Because if you ask a lot, you get little. If you ask little, you get nothing. And if you ask nothing, you will pay on top. That's very clear. So let's focus on what kind of concessions we want to see from the Russian side, not who is bringing those concessions to the table.
What size of Russian army is ideal for this negotiation?
Well, it's not up to me to say, but the point is that if there are limitations on the Ukrainian army, there should also be limitations on the Russian army, because they are actually the problem here. But it's of course up to the discussions.
After the ceasefire in Syria right now, what message do you have for the President Ahmed Shar and the Kurdish leader Mazlum Abdi?
Well, we have the ceasefire, and of course it's very fragile. So we need those forces to work together to bring about the inclusive government and really reconciliation of the country. And we are willing to help in this regard as much as we can. So also regarding institution building, today we're going to also discuss whether time is ripe to have high-level political dialogue with Syria to address all these concerns.
How do you want about what Mr. Witkoff said?
You seem to
pessimistic, but he seemed optimistic, saying that he expected breakthrough in the coming weeks and possible summits between Putin and Zelensky and maybe Trump. How do you see this optimistic going on? Do you have the same level of optimism?
Looking at the signs, I don't share this optimism because the negotiators on the Russian side are not really serious and they are not willing to talk about anything political. So, of course, we have seen a lot of pressure on Ukraine to concede and give up what they are not willing to give up. But it doesn't bring long-term peace. So I'm not that optimistic that we will see any results in coming weeks and months.
How do you respond to U.S. counterparts about the escalating situation in Iran?
Yes, the situation in Iran, of course, is very intense. So we don't need another war in this region. We already have a lot. So we have stressed the diplomatic way out of this. So we are also willing to contribute, and it's not only the nuclear issue, but it's also the ballistic missile program and the other worries we have with Iran. It is true that Iran is at its weakest point that they have been. We should be really using this time to find a diplomatic solution.
You said that there will be today will not pass on. So what kind of signal does this give for years after the start?
No, we are of course doing our utmost to have this sanctions package to push this through, and I've talked to the member states who are also going to raise this and convince the countries who are blocking, and we are also looking ways how we can do it. But as we have heard some very strong statements from Hungary, that's why I don't really see that they are going to change this, unfortunately, today, this position that they have.
How do you want to convince them, like what compromises are on the table to bring it over the line with Hungary?
Well, we have heard from the media their problems that they have that are totally not related to the 20th sanctions package. So I think we shouldn't tie together things that are not connected to each other at all. But let's listen to them explaining what are the reasons why they are blocking, and then see whether there are possibilities to overcome.
High Representative, speaking about negotiations with Russia, about your proposal or idea, can you confirm that your idea also to request to speak about withdrawal of Russia's troops from occupied territories, for example, for us from Georgia, and also, please, can you estimate the situation in Georgia? Situation goes worse in the water.
Yes, it is true that Russia has occupied a lot of territories, and their forces are in different parts when it comes to Georgia, when it comes to Moldova. So yes, it would be clear to have a long-term peace that they would withdraw from all the occupied territories where they are. Of course, some say these demands are not realistic, but let's be honest, the demands from the Russian side are not realistic at all. I mean, they're demanding the territories that they haven't conquered even militarily by diplomatic means. So this is in order to a bit balance the negotiation situation and really bring the focus on the problem, which is Russia continuing to attack its neighbors. Thank you very much.